Hey everybody, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and I've got another comic book haul video for you. But first off, let me wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. In fact, I'm filming this Christmas night, and I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas today. Now, before we get going with the books that I've picked up over the last week or so, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you like today's video, hit the thumbs up and support the video. And always, please leave a comment or two. What do you think about the books that I've been picking up? Alright, let's get into the books. Now, I've been doing a lot of buying on Whatnot the last couple weeks. I've tried to find values and a lot of things, and I actually picked up a couple of my first slabs that I've got. In fact, this is my first CBCS slab that I bought, and it is a 9.8 Something That's Killing the Children. This is number 10, and is a second printing, and I picked this up for a pretty good price. May hold on to this for a little bit, but I saw a lot of value in how much I paid for it. Maybe I won't be able to turn it around for a lot of money, but I definitely saw there's definitely a nice investment on this without having to go back to CBCS or even CGC and getting it graded and everything. So that was the first book I picked up. And then the second slab, and it's the same deal. This is the facsimile version of Ultimate Fallout number 4. And I've been actually getting a few of these slabs myself, and I know what I'm paying for it, and I actually paid maybe a little bit more for this one already pre-slabbed, but I'm definitely looking at, hopefully the market there will be a little bit more in demand here in the future. Maybe make a small profit on some of these, but I saw some profit in this one right here. Great value for what I paid for it, but 9.8 on Ultimate Fallout number 4, the facsimile edition. Well, so I picked up, as I said, a lot of stuff this week, a lot from Whatnot. I did pick up a couple things from my local LCS, and we'll get into that towards the end of the video, but I ended up, because this video is going to end up being pretty long if I unbox everything as we go along. I've already pre-unboxed everything, and so I'm just going to go through the books and show you what I picked up. So I did pick up a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 301, and I'd already gotten my own copy of this graded from CGC. I wasn't too happy with it. I ended up with a 9.4. I was hoping for a little bit better. This one actually looks really good. I paid a little bit more than I normally would have wanted to, but this looks super good. And so far, taking a look at it, I think I'm going to be very close to being able to pull at least a 9.6, maybe a 9, even a 9.8. We'll get into it. That'll come over the next couple of weeks when I actually get these books into the press. But there is Amazing Spider-Man 301. All right. Now the next lot I got, I picked up Akira number 10. I think I may have a couple of books like this in my collection. This is more of a FOMO. I just kind of like the book. I like Akira. I love the anime, like a lot of people did. But there's a little bit of spec value on these books. I picked up for just a couple bucks the Nom number 1. I remember reading this in college. I think I had some of the early issues, but I never had issue number 1. This is more for the PC than anything. I don't know if I will even get graded. And I picked up a copy of Namor Submariner number 1. This is another John Byrne copy. Artwork, writing, and everything. Love the artwork in these. Just beautiful. Someday I hope to be able to find one of the original art pages from that, but in the meantime I'll just enjoy the books. This is a really nice grade. I don't know if there's super a lot of value in any of these books right here to get graded, but again, mostly for the PC. Alright, and the way I've got these divided, I've actually got these by seller, so I'm going to keep them organized. So I'm going to lay them down here on the floor. If you see me laying them down, I'm laying them down in a certain pile so I know they're all together. Picked up a copy of X-Force number 13. This is the 1 in 100 variation. This is, if you recognize it, it's the Beast. It is the Alex Ross Timeless series, but this was the sketch version. I think this is the first sketch version I've had of some of these. Now, if you watch my last video, you know I've been picking up a lot of the Timeless copies with the intent to get them graded. This is completely something that's going to get graded at some point. And this is all, again, all from the same seller as the last ones I just did. This is Chamber of Darkness. Chamber of Darkness number 5. It's nothing, there's no spec on this. I believe that's a Jack Kirby cover. Maybe it's Steranko. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But this is a super nice looking copy right here. It's very, I mean, I don't see hardly any spine text, some normal wear and tear from a book of this, from this era and everything, but boy, is that just a beautiful copy. Alright. I think those, a lot of these will be coming from Torpedo Comics out in Vegas. They have several different stores, so they are somebody I go back to time and time again on Whatnot. I find that they grade their own books. Sometimes the grades seem a little bit better than what they're grading, and I know definitely with a clean press on most of these, I'll come out ahead on most of them anyway. Alright, from this one seller, I picked up Eternals number 3. And these are books I didn't have as a kid. I think I might have one issue, but I really wasn't a Jack Kirby fan as I was growing up. But I saw some value in this. Even if the Eternals movie hasn't come out, I think the value in a lot of the Eternal books have gone down. Maybe this is a good time to buy, but I picked this up for a really good price. And they literally, I'm not sure what their final selling price is. I know like Torpedo will put the prices of what they try to sell the books for, but this one doesn't have a price on it, but this looks in really nice shape. And I picked up a super nice copy of Spider-Man 2099, and I've taken this out and looked at it. You can tell the bag's already open. Front looks really good, maybe just a nice little press on that. There is a spine, kind of a spine tick or a crease on the back that I think I might be able to get out. I'm hoping to. I had pressed my own copy of 2099, sent it out, and got a 9.8 on it. And I ended up selling that copy, and of course, every time I sell something, should I have done that? Maybe we should get that back in the collection. But so I picked this up for a really good price. We'll try to get another 9.8. And then a real modern book that just came out. This is Devil's Reign number 1. This is the John Romita Jr. variant edition. And this one I probably paid a little bit more than I should have, but there's definitely some value in this book right now. It will probably go out on one of my pre-screen 9.8 modern submissions. Definitely I want to get a 9.8 on that. And it looks really nice, so I'm happy with it. But along with in this seller right here, what was really nice was every time you won something, they had extra books on the side, and they let you pick out. This is their big Christmas blowout show. They were giving you extra copies of books that they had on the side, and you could pick out whichever one they had displayed. There's usually 5, maybe 6 books sitting there. So I'll show you the 3 books that I picked up for free. I did pick up a copy of X-Force number 1. And I'm just taking a chance that maybe this is a really nice copy. What do you want for free? I got Punisher 2099. And then I've got Resurrection with Silver Surfer and Warlock. This is issue number 1. Who knows on some of these books what the spec value is on these books right here, with Warlock going to be showing up in the MCU in the 3rd Guardians movie. Who knows what some of these books are going to be valued as. I know that his early books are going to be expensive. I know that the Infinity Gauntlet books will be expensive. So maybe some of these other books will increase in value as well. Now from the next seller, I only got 1 book, but it's a pretty nice book. It's the foil edition to Gun Hunting number 1. It's the Adam Hughes cover. This cover blew up the internet. It blew up comic world. I had 1 copy of this, the regular trade dress edition. This one I picked up, paid a little bit for it, but I'm real happy to get this. This is definitely a grading candidate book right here. I'm going to have to double check to make sure everything's clean. I'm definitely hoping for a 9.8 on that, but that's what a beautiful cover. This is probably one of Adam Hughes's most significant covers in the last year. Alright, moving on. So I picked up a copy of Ghost Rider number 31, the first appearance of the Midnight Suns. And I know there's a lot of spec on this right now, considering I think they're slated or rumored to appear in the MCU on Disney Plus eventually. Picked up issue number 49 of Moon Knight. This is Mark Spector and Moon Knight. This is the Stephen Platt artwork. I don't think I ever had this. I did press and grade issue number 56, which was one of the big issues of Spider-Man, and got a 9.8 on that. I was really happy with that. I paid a few dollars for this. I wouldn't say there was much spec value on this, but I know that these have gone up in value. These Stephen Platt artwork issues have gone up in value here. All right, so I picked up a first issue of Marvel Fanfare number 1 with some, I believe it's Mike Golden artwork, Spider-Man in the Savage Land. Just a beautiful, beautiful cover. Love this series growing up, especially the George Perez Black Widow issues, especially. All right, I picked up a copy just for a few bucks just for fun. It literally cost me $3. This is the Atom number 38. I don't have a lot of Silver Age DC. Really got this for fun. This one's probably, they've got it graded as a 3.0, and then they have a note that the centerfold is detached on the top staple. So definitely not a candidate for grading, but it's definitely one just for the PC for now. And let's see, this I got only because it was a variant. It was a what do you call it? A virgin version of this. This is the Beauty number 20. Just absolutely gorgeous cover, and it was only for a few dollars. So just a little bit of specking on my part. If not, it's just going to go to the PC. But the big book I got up from this seller was this copy, and they've got it graded. Again, this is from Torpedo Comics. They've got it graded as a 4.5. This is Submariner number 2. This is probably my second favorite issue from those first 10 issues. I love this cover. Love the John Buscema artwork. My favorite, of course, is the Hulk Submariner cover, the all black cover. But this was probably my second favorite, followed by I guess it was the second appearance of Tiger Shark. That cover. Alright, from the next seller, I picked up a book that I had briefly and then had submitted to CGC early on when it came out. It is the issue number 1 of Berserker. It's one of the foil covers, and I think is this the 4th printing? But I know there's definitely value in this book because as I said, I had this book when it came out. I picked it off the stand. The book at that point was quite hot after the 2nd, 3rd, 4th printings. And there was a lot of value in this particular cover and issue, and so I had submitted that copy to CGC and now with this one I'm going to send this one as well, as long as it's super clean. So definitely going to CGC. All right, next one I've got, and if everybody's on Whatnot, they'll know, especially they'll see if they do comic books, you'll know that Torpedo Comics does multiple shows during the day. In fact, they have multiple stores that do multiple shows during the day. So if I have one batch from Torpedo and I come back later and you see another batch from Torpedo, it's actually a separate order. They don't wait all day and combine the orders. Every show is its own. Whatever you get in that one show is one order, but if you do multiple shows, it's multiple orders. So just something to look out for. But I picked up a really nice copy of Avengers 82. They've got this rated as a 6.0. This is just some beautiful John Buscema, Tom Palmer artwork, and if you watch my former shows, you know I go on about John Buscema and Tom Palmer and the Avengers, my favorite issues. This is probably one of my least favorite of that timeline, but it's got some I think they're fighting Zodiac in this, and it's amazing. It's a one-issue story with as much that goes on in it, and they do it in one issue. All right, this was a favorite of mine growing up. I probably still have a reader copy someplace, but I got Detective Comics number 566, and you can actually literally you can see the Rogues Gallery here, and I want to say that there were some makes this is somewhat of a key issue, but for the life of me, I can't remember what. But I remember seeing this issue, and I'm like, oh, let's get at this. And they had a pretty big price tag on it. I didn't pay nearly what their price tag here is. They literally have this as a $50 comic book. I didn't pay anywhere close to that. So real happy with that one. And oh, I picked up another John Buscema, Tom Palmer issue here. This is number 97. This was the last issue of the Tom Palmer, John Buscema run on Avengers, the original run. This is the end of the Skrull Kree War, and just a fantastic finish. You've got a lot of the Golden Age characters that get reintroduced into Marvel. You see the original Vision, things like that. Love this issue. I actually own a copy of this, but I think this one is so much better. They've got it rated as a 7.5. And then the last one I got during this particular auction was a book that I've read in several of the old trade paperbacks back in the day. It is Thor number 143. Love this issue, love Baldur, love Sif in this story, just beautiful Jack Kirby artwork. I think that I probably enjoyed, except for a few particular Fantastic Four issues, this run of Thor with Kirby was probably my favorite. So anyway, that was a nice issue to have. It's the first time I've ever owned 143, so I may go back and start collecting some more Thors. That's definitely a favorite. I'm not going to worry about which ones are the keys or not. I may just start working on a run. Who knows? Alright, from the next seller, I picked up it's not the best condition, but it's a pretty nice overall condition of Tomb of Dracula number 9. I think I literally paid $3 for that. I don't think I had any of the first 10 issues of this when I was growing up. I know that I had a lot of the issues starting around 20 up to 70. I had most of them after that. Now this is Dark Horse's The Predator number 2. This is the original, I believe it was a mini-series. And I've got a copy of this. It's actually in the workshop being worked on. There's some damage to it that I wasn't too happy about, so when they had this up for auction, I said, for literally $3, I'll pick up another copy just to have a better version of it in the collection. Now this one's a really nice copy right here. And if anybody's ever read any of the Amazing Adventure storylines, you know you get the Inhumans and you get Black Widow. This is issue number 5. I've never had this one, but just a beautiful artwork, and condition looks really good. The price is really good too. But let me see. Oh, I'm sorry, I got 2 more here. And then I picked up another copy of Asagi Yojimbo number 8. This is the Fantagraphics version, and just a really nice, clean copy. Not super expensive. I'm a super Stan Sakai fan, and I'll talk more about Stan a little bit later in this video. But this right here is really nice. This is just a really clean copy. But the big issue I picked up, and this one is a PC book. I probably would have picked it up even if the grade on this was lower than this. They've literally got it graded as a 5.0. There must be some damage more than what I'm seeing on the cover, but the cover looks really nice except for a little damage here. But it's the Avengers King Size Special number 2. This is the original Avengers fighting the current Avengers at the time. And I always love that beautiful John Buscema cover right there. It's a pretty classic cover at this point. But really happy to have that copy right there. I don't know what I'm going to do with that other than put it in the PC. I have not pressed any square-bound books. It's something I probably should work on, but I have not done so yet. Alright, the next one, it was a single book I picked up. I actually have this, but this book's in a lot better shape. This is Strange Tales number 165. One of the Steranko storyline with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury. Beautiful cover, love the artwork. I think I might even have this one signed by Steranko at some point. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and check, but something tells me that I have that one actually signed. Alright, let's switch over. So far, all of these have been from Whatnot, but looks to me like I've only gotten one order from eBay this week. So I was very light on eBay, very heavy on Whatnot, but I picked up issues as a set from one seller, Avengers 187, or 186 and 187, and you know, this is the parts 2 and 3 of the origin of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. The first Darkhold 186 is the money issue out of the 3. Both issues right here, these are super nice. Super nice. And I'm real happy with what I paid for it, especially both of them included. The conditions look great. I can't wait to get these into the press. I can't wait to get these back. I'm super excited about both of these. Alright, so we're going back to Whatnot here. And these are some fun issues. I never had some of these original issues, but this right here is Marvel Age #2, and this is, they were introducing Alpha Flight, John Byrne's Alpha Flight, and just a beautiful, beautiful cover there. And I picked up another copy of Strange Academy #4. This is the Timeless Alex Ross cover with the Scarlet Witch. I've actually gotten this one graded now as a 9.8. It is in the PC, as you see behind me. I've got some of those behind me, but I'm real happy. I've got this in the collection right now already as a 9.8. If they start going up in value more, this will be another candidate to go in at some point, but for right now it's going to sit there, and we'll take care of it. We'll maybe get it ready and everything, and someday, if necessary, we'll get it graded. Alright, now this is Spider-Gwen #2, a variant edition. It's the Midtown Comics. I think it's one of their, it's a convention special. I think that's what that is. I don't know if it was just a store special. Could be a convention special. I don't know. But I saw this cover. That's absolutely gorgeous. I'm not the... I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of Spider-Gwen. It's not a character that I've really followed that much. I'm obviously aware of her and everything else currently and everything, but it's not a character that I spec on a lot, but I love the artwork on that cover. And then I picked up an issue of Spider-Man 75. This is the Del Otto Virgin cover. Beautiful cover. I got most of these mostly because the values are really good, I felt like, and I think with a clean press on all of these could be, well, except for the Marvel Age, they're candidates for CGC. Alright, continuing on here, I picked up what is my very first issue of Invincible. I was not a fan at the very beginning. I'm not a fan of the comic book right now. I love the show, but I'm not going to go back and try to collect this series at all. But I ended up picking up an issue of 36 here. I don't think there's any spec on this. I probably paid more than I should have, but I did pick up a couple other books in this collection, so it wasn't like this was the first one I picked up and then I picked up other things. Like, well, let's pick up something else, and if there's any value into it, that's cool. We'll just add it to the PC for the moment. But the ones I picked up that had a little bit more spec was, here's Eternals #18. That's in a really nice shape. And Justice League #30, and I believe this is the first full appearance of Jessica Cruz in DC Comics right there. So I'm real happy. I don't spec a lot on DC, but this right here I think was a really good value for what that book is. So that's going to be an interesting set of books to get graded and send out and see how I do. Alright. From this next seller, from Whatnot, I picked up Heroes for Hope, starring the X-Men #1. Now, I've got this issue. I wanted to send it in to get graded, but it ended up, there was a little bit too much damage on there, and if it wasn't going to get a 9.8, 9.6 in that range, I wasn't going to send it in. There wasn't a lot of value past that, so I ended up picking this up. Now, they've got it graded as an 8.5, but looking at it so far, it looks super clean. I'm hoping that any damage is something I can clean and press. And then I picked up an issue #3 of the Black Widow. This is the J.G. Jones artwork run, and I've got this issue. I paid a couple bucks for this. This was not expensive, but I picked that up just because I can't pass up J.G. Jones on Black Widow. That's just some beautiful artwork. I think between this series and his work on Wanted are probably my favorite J.G. Jones series that he's worked on. And he's got a lot of good books, a lot of good things out there. All right, so that looks like that's the end of the Whatnot. what I picked up over the last couple of weeks. I think what it was, I was traveling, and as I was traveling, I was sitting on Whatnot all day, so I had a chance to watch too many videos. So that's probably why I saw all these orders that came in at one time. Alright, so I ended up going to my LCS, and for me, my LCS, one of them is Third Eye Comics down in Annapolis, Maryland. And I go down there for my new comic books every week. Well, I still subscribe to M&M Comics for most of my books, but I go down to Third Eye because they carry so many new issues and tons of them that they have a lot of exclusives. I'm sorry, I should say variants, ratio books that come in that they're available. I had another LCS that had all the same books. They just didn't buy enough to get any of the variants, any of the ratios. So I started going to Third Eye, and they are not a big back issue store, but in the last month or so, they've been buying some collections, and they've been putting out a lot of older issues. So it's been pretty nice. You pick up some keys here and there. So I ended up picking up a few books this week off their wall. I picked up, and actually I was just down there yesterday, I picked up issues 268 and 269 of Avengers. And this is, of course, the parts 2 and 3 of the Council of Kang storyline. The money issue is 267, of course, but I looked at both of these, and the conditions on them look really nice. I think these are really good candidates for cleaning and pressing, so I'm looking forward to that. And then that was yesterday, but I actually went down there last week for earlier in the week for New Comic Book Day. And on that day, I picked, besides my new comics, which I'm actually not even going to go over here, I'm just going to go up the special issues I picked up. I picked up issue 489 of Batman. And this is the first appearance of Azrael as in the Bat costume. And if you watch some of my other videos, you know that I had sent this out to get graded, my own personal copy. It was one that wasn't clean and pressed. It been in my collection since it came out, and I was super happy I got a 9.8 on that copy. I ended up selling that, and so when I ran across this right here, I know how much this was going to cost me, and I know how much I can make with a 9.8, so I'm rolling the dice again on this one. And then I picked up, they had on their wall issue 127 of Walking Dead. Now I've got this issue. I remember when I was collecting Walking Dead, I missed this issue. Didn't think much about it. The back issues weren't expensive, and then I went back to pick it up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's a key issue, new character introductions. The book got expensive and kind of upset me, and I paid more than I did for this one, definitely. Probably twice as much as I paid for this one back. So I went ahead and picked that up. I don't know if there's any real spec value on that. I think it was just me kind of getting back at myself from years ago, missing it. And then the last thing I picked up, they still have a few copies left of their exclusive cover to Nice House on the Lake. It's the same as the original cover and everything, except the trade dress is that of I guess a late 70s horror comic book. It's very Stephen King horror book type of trade dress. And then I'm not taking it out of the bag, but you can actually see on the back of the bag they've got their logo here, Third Eye Comics. But the back of the cover has the Third Eye Comics logo and everything. And I ended up picking up 3 of those. And all 3 of those hopefully will end up going to CGC. There is some really nice value getting those graded if you get a 9.8. So that's the goal. They'll probably go in a pre-screen 9.8. And we'll have to see. Alright, let's see. I'm looking at what's left in the box. And it looks like everything else in there is things that I picked up was in the last video. So the last thing I want to show you is something I actually picked up today. And my wonderful wife, who will surprise me occasionally with some pretty big gifts and everything, ended up getting me something right here. And you know I got something right here when it comes wrapped a Christmas present in a Gemini mailer. I'm like, oh, I know and I told her, oh, I know what you did. I know what you did. I may not know exactly which issue, but I know what you did. And she went to either Stan Sakai's site or to Dugo and picked up something signed by Stan Sakai. And I figured it was one of the signed, remarked issues of Sagi or Jimbo. But she completely surprised me, and it was something that I had looked at doing myself when it came out, and I kind of passed over it and everything. But she got me Venom #1, the Stan Sakai variant cover, trade dress cover that he signed and did a remark on that. And that is absolutely gorgeous. So this was my #1 gift for my wife for Christmas this year. So she definitely won Christmas. That was awesome. I am super stoked about this. I have picked up a couple of these. You probably saw in my last few videos, Stan Sakai signed books like this. I probably am going to put this and the couple of the other ones that I've gotten. They're probably going to go to CBCS. I want them graded. I want them encapsulated and verified, of course, and everything. I want those as part of my PC. So I am super excited about this. So anyway, guys, that is it. It has been a busy couple weeks since my last comic book haul. As I said, I traveled and I spent too much time on Whatnot, but I got just a wonderful haul here. I'd say 95% of all the books I've got sitting out here now in the living room are going to go to the CGC. Can't wait to get them into the press, into the workshop. It will probably, a lot of these, except for some of the modern ones, it'll take a little time to get through the process. Some of those, like the Nice House on the Lakes, are brand new books. The Gun Honey, I'm going to probably accelerate, get that into that pre-screen 9.8 submission. They don't need a lot of work, so hopefully they'll be okay. We'll get those out sooner than some of the other ones, because I've actually got a ton of books in the process getting ready to go to CGC, but they are in different stages of cleaning and pressing. So a lot of these books will, like I said, will make it there, but it just will take a little time. So anyway, guys, that is it for today. Merry Christmas. If I don't see you and talk to you before then, have a Happy New Year, and I will see you for the next video.